Good evening, everyone. Tonight we are going to, I'm going to show off some more Pokemon cards from my collection and talking about the card art and my collecting experiences. Just something chill tonight. It's been a long but good day, and I just want to do something chill, so I'm going to talk about Pokemon cards again. Again, I don't really talk about the attacks or what they do. There's 100 channels that do that. But almost nobody talks about the art, which for me is most of the fun of collecting is the card arts. So let's go ahead and get into some random cards here. Let's switch over to my Pokemon cards. So yeah, we're going to start. We have the slideshow up. And we're going to start going through these Pokemon cards. So the first card for tonight is, it's a Skiddo from Forbidden Light. I don't have too much to say about Skiddo, this particular Skiddo. It's just a goat playing in a field with some mountains and trees in the back. Actually, the background almost looks like a Bob Ross inspired thing. But Forbidden Light is the last set that my nephews collected before they quit. So it's a little bit of a sad set for me. Plus, Forbidden Light, they reprinted about half of the cards from the directly previous set, Ultra Prism, where all the Pokemon had the same art and the same attacks. They just all had different type. So overall, Forbidden Light, between my nephew's quitting and the fact that half of the set was reprints of recent cards, Forbidden Light was overall a bit of a letdown for me. Next card, Glaceon. This is from the Sylveon promo box that they released at the very end of Black and White. When the Sylveon promo box was the first box to introduce Fairy type, which has recently been discontinued. So sad. Fairy type in the cards only lasted for 2 generations, but it was a pretty pink color. I really liked the Fairy type color. It was pretty. But here it's Glaceon. Sylveon itself was a different art style from the other evolutions in the set. The Sylveon box was Sylveon. It had a few packs, like most of the collection boxes. I think it had legendary treasures. Sylveon is... it had legendary treasures. Eevee and the other 7 evolutions, they all had art styles like this, where it looked like a really nice cutouts shadowed against a patterned background. It was a really nice series. It was a really nice series of promos. I liked the series. And Glaceon, of course, the Ice-type evolution. Ice and water have the same typing in the card game. So Glaceon and Vaporeon were the only 2 evolutions to share a type. Now that Fairy's been discontinued, the Fairy types have been rolled into Psychic. So Sylveon and Espeon are going to share a type. But neither of them have appeared in the cards yet, at least in America, since Fairy type was discontinued. However, there's rumors that the next set is going to have a whole ton of Evolution Ultra Rares in it. And since I had to suspend my collecting, that does not make me happy because it's going to be expensive to get caught up when I'm able to start collecting again. Alright, next card. Latias. This is Unified Minds. I like this art. It shows the dragon flying above the clouds against the sunset. Or is that flying above clouds? That could just be it. No, there's definitely clouds in the art. But it looks like you can see it flying over the ocean and the clouds with the sunset in the background. This is a beautiful artwork. I really like this art. But in terms of collection, this is a reverse. So because it's a reverse, it's Unified Minds. So that's when I started collecting the sets just as stacks of singles. So because this is a reverse, that means, and it's got the rare star, that means this was a regular rare, not a holo rare. Because when I did my when I did my my set stacks, I always got the holos as holos. But yeah, very beautiful art. And I forgot about this one. A lot of the arts in the set stacks I just forgot about because I don't really have stories of collecting them. Beedrill, Crimson Invasion. Beedrill is flying through a field. It looks like it's got a weird lens angle, because you can see how the grass kind of makes a U shape around it. I kind of like how the grass outlines the focal point of the image, which is the bee's head. And it looks like it's also got motion lines on as well. This is a very dynamic looking card. I like this art. I don't really have a collection story with it. This would have been a pack pull, because it's not special enough to be something I would have consciously traded for. So this was probably a pack pull. But I still enjoy this art and how dynamic it is. Alright, next card. I killed the slideshow. Hold on. Let's fix this. Alright, we're back in business. Manaphy. This is a trainer deck exclusive. What was interesting about the trainer decks is, for many years, Pokemon did a line of trainer decks, which was a kit which came with 2 30-card decks for new players to learn the game and play against each other. And each of the decks was made of reprints of the set cards at the time, with same art, but they all got numbered for it. They all got different numbers for the decks, with a logo based on who the highlight of the deck was. And each logo did have each of the decks in this trainer deck series did have an exclusive art holo card that the deck was supposed to revolve around. And Manaphy is one of the trainer deck exclusive holos. As for getting it, I don't remember if I traded for this one or bought this one, but I do remember I do remember adding this Manaphy to my collection. I just don't remember how. Alright, next card. Cosmoem from Cosmic Eclipse. Not much to say about Cosmoem. It's a stage 1. It evolves from Cosmog. The Sun and Moon box art legendaries, Solgaleo and Lunala, are the first legendaries not to be basics. They were evolved from Cosmog and Cosmoem. As for this art, it's just chilling in a field. There's really not much to say. It's a space-themed Pokemon chilling in a field. 2 design themes that don't really mesh, but still the composition on this one is nice. Really not much to say about this one. Oddish from Jungle. So this would have been the first Oddish card ever printed. And he looks pretty cool. They used to do a lot of 3D arts back then, not so much anymore, unfortunately. I enjoyed the 3D arts, even though they do look like they were made on Windows 95 computers with like low-res poly and all that. But he's just chilling in a field. Yeah. Wizards cards are always fun to look at. Even if the art isn't as exciting, it's always fun to look at vintage cards. Even the commons are fun to look at. I don't have a lot of Wizards in my collection, but I do have enough to know that I really enjoy my Wizards cards. Alright. We're going to go on to the next card now. One moment. I got a notification. Alright. Ash Greninja EX. This was a box promo. And I think this may be the only card ever released in the card game to directly reference the character of Ash from the anime. I don't really have much to say. It's a Greninja. It's a half RDX, meaning it's a really dynamic action pose. He looks like he's attacking out of the frame. Pretty cool stuff. The thing that differentiates Ash Greninja from regular Greninja is this big red star on his forehead. As far as I know. I could be wrong about that. Other than that, it's a cool looking card, but I don't really have too much to say about it. Let's move on. Victini. And this is the... oh, you know what this is? This is the Generations Legendary Collection box Victini. During Generations, there was a set called Generations to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Pokemon. And part of Generations, they had 4 big collection boxes featuring Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Pikachu promos. They also had the Elite Trainer box, Super Premium box featuring Mewtwo and Mew, and they also had 11 of these, what I think they were called Mythical Collection boxes, each representing a different legendary mythical Pokemon, and Victini was one of them. And each of them came with 2 packs and a pin, and the pin was of the Pokemon featured in the promo. So yeah, cute little Victini cards. None of the Mythical Collection promos were actually what you would consider playable, but they all looked really cool. I remember getting the boxes. I think I traded for a couple of the promos, or my nephews got like extras and gave me the promos. A couple of the boxes I know I opened myself, but I think Victini was one of the ones that the nephews had extra and they traded to me. Can't swear on that though, but still, cool looking card. I enjoyed the mythical full arts. Aegislash, Forbidden Light. And this one looks like a reverse. You can tell by the pattern on the text area. One moment. Alright. So Aegislash. It's kind of a... the funny thing, Aegislash is a Pokemon that came out in XY era. But Aegislash is literally a sword and shield. So it was basically it was basically a preview of coming attractions, I guess. There's a lot of cool Aegislash arts out there. This is one of the less cool ones, but it's still quite dynamic. It's an action pose. I really like the action pose cards. But there's definitely more exciting Aegislash arts out there. Stuffle. This is from Burning Shadows. Stuffle's little teddy bear, a dangerous little teddy bear. And it gets even more dangerous when it evolves into Bewear. And funny thing about Stuffle and Bewear, they were the... When Sun Moon was released, Stuffle and its evolution Bewear were released in all 4 of the sets the first year of Sun Moon. They were in Sun Moon Base, Guardians Rising, Burning Shadows, and Crimson Invasion. And not once during any of those sets was Bewear actually an Ultra. He did get a promo GX during that time, but in the sets, Bewear was... they did Bewear 4 sets in a row, but didn't make him cool even one of those times. Still, Stuffle, as for the art of this particular Stuffle, it's pretty cute. Chilling in a field with flowers, There's only so much I can say about the cute little Pokemon chilling in a field of flowers. That's a cliche when it comes to Pokemon card art styles. There's only so much I can say about it. One moment, and we'll get on to the next card. Wow, okay. Alright, next card. Morelull. This is the Detective Pikachu version. Detective Pikachu is a cool movie, and they did a very tiny promo set, which only featured about 12.5 Pokemon in the promo set. Morelull was in the same. There was like a science lab area surrounded by a forest where they were researching Pokemon, and there were Bulbasaurs who lived there and a couple others, and Morelull was in that forest as well. There's really not much to say about this card other than that. Next card. Mudsdale. This is a pre-release promo. You can tell by its promo numbering and the Guardians Rising set logo on the corner. Throughout Sun Moon, I tried to collect all the pre-release promo cards. And the pre-release promos, even though they were promo numbered, they were all identical to a rare in the set, just with a different art. I do not think... Mudsdale, I know, was not the one I pulled out of my own kit. I think my nephew, who had no interest in the card, pulled it out of his and gave it to me. I think is how I got the Mudsdale. I'm not 100% sure on that. Mudsdale is a Pokemon I feel that they didn't really print enough of so far. They really don't do a lot of horse Pokemon. They really should start doing more. Magnezone. This is a Plasma Storm card. I don't have a lot of Plasma cards. You can tell it's Plasma by the blue border and the fact that it says Team Plasma at the top. During the last year of Black and White, there were 3 Plasma sets, which had this cool game feature where you could build a deck. It was either all Plasma or no Plasma. But I think is how Plasma worked. Can't really swear to it. That was before my nephews and I started playing. But I thought the idea of Plasma and being able to play as a villain team was pretty cool. There were a lot of these Plasma variants in terms of the Pokemon themselves. Some nice trainer support as well. But again, I didn't play Plasma during that era, so there's really not much I can say about this, because I don't want to start talking about it and then find out I gave you incorrect information about how the era worked. So, as for the art, it's a mean-looking Magnezone with some electricity surrounding it. There's really not much. It's a dynamic action pose. A lot of the Plasmas were dynamic action poses because they were Pokemon who were corrupted by the villain team. So, yeah, they all look meaner than their regular counterparts. It's pretty cool. Skrelp. Cosmic Eclipse. Just a common. This was one of my single stack sets, meaning there's really not much to say about commons in terms of collecting. As for the art, I just noticed this. The Skrelp is swimming underwater, but I never noticed that statue of Palkia that's behind it underwater. This must be some kind of underwater temple ruin thing. I've never noticed that before. That's cool. See, the cards themselves are pretty tiny, and so when I see it on my computer screen increased in size, I can see details that I can't easily see on the cards themselves. That's pretty cool, that Palkia statue. But I think underwater cards for the water type Pokemon are pretty cool looking. And there's really not much more to say on this one. Solgaleo GX. This is the Sun Moon Base version. Around the same time as Sun Moon Base, which had Solgaleo and Lunala GX in it, there were also promo boxes of alternate art Solgaleo and Lunala GX, which the cards had the exact same attacks, but the art was the Solgaleo and Lunala in different poses. As for the art, the regular art GXs all show dynamic action poses, and there's really so much going on that I can't really make out too much detail. But I can see like rocks flying around him. You can see motion, knot lines, dynamics. It's a pretty cool looking action card. Mega Pidgeot EX from Evolutions, the final set of XY era. And because Evolutions was designed to celebrate the 20th anniversary, and most of the set was reprints of base set cards. The irony is the final set of XY era didn't actually have any XY Pokemon in it. I just thought that was a little funny. As for the Mega EXs, I thought that they were a bit overdone, because they had the same dynamic action poses as the regular EXs, but the Megas had the additional effect of the attack name in Japanese text across the art, and I always felt that made the cards look too busy. Looks cool, but the card is too busy. The full arts alleviated the issue somewhat by just having more space to show the Pokemon. But yeah, this Mega Pidgeot. Mega Pidgeot I thought was one of the cooler Megas. And for some reason, the set before Evolutions was Steam Siege, and they gave one of the EX slots in the set to Gardevoir, who had already had EXs in Primal Clash, instead of giving that slot to one of the 7 or so Mega Pokemon that had not yet received cards and are never going to receive cards because the EX era ended. And by EX, I mean the XY era. There was prior, Generation 3 was also called EX era, because the old school EXs were in that era, but I only have, like, the evolutions, I think. They did 5 of the evolutions, because only 5 evolutions actually existed back in that era. So, yeah, Mega Pidgeot. Still a pretty cool looking card, even if it is a little busy. Like you can't really tell much going in. You can't really tell much about what's going on or detail about any part of its body other than its face, other than it's flying directly at you. Yeah. The Mega EXs did look tough and menacing, and like they were ready to get in your face. So that's one cool thing about them, even though they were overdone and too busy for my taste. I liked how they looked like they were ready to start something. Imakuni from Generations, and this is a reverse. Imakuni is an interesting card. In Japan, when the Pokemon card game came out, there was a character called Imakuni who was involved in promoting the game in Japan. He apparently did game show appearances, music videos, all sorts of stuff to promote the Pokemon trading card game. And he's a part of Pokemon trading card culture that didn't really make it to America. Although there was a Game Boy game after Fossil, the third Wizard set came out, base set Jungle Fossil. There was a Game Boy game that was kind of an interpretation of the Pokemon trading card game as a single-player Game Boy game where you could go around to different gyms and play your card decks and collect cards from the first 3 sets. And Imakuni appeared in that, where he would appear after a certain point in the game. He would appear in random clubs, and if you beat his deck, he would give you one of each of the 4 booster packs available in the game as his prize. So there was a large strategy around just stalking Imakuni, and he always used the same deck, so once you figured it out, it was really easy to beat. There was a strategy around stalking Imakuni to fill in your collection. It was... I had that Game Boy game once. I may... If I get a Game Boy emulator, I may do a video. Imakuni's pretty cool. As far as Imakuni now, I don't think he still does the Pokemon game. I think he retired. But he came out of retirement, I think, to do this card for Generations. And during the anniversary, he did make a little bit of a comeback tour for a short time in Japan, of course. He never did America, except to be released on this card in the Generation set. Meowth. This is the Fates Collide version. It's a reverse. Fates Collide is the first set I bought from the comic book and game store that would eventually start hosting the league that my nephews and I went to. There's a story about the 2 packs of Fates Collide I bought that night and opened sitting in Brett's car as we drove towards the restaurant where we were going to stop for dinner after checking out the comic book store for the first time. But I'm going to wait till one specific card comes up to tell that story, so you probably won't hear that story tonight. And I just noticed I didn't crop this card correctly. You can see a little bit of white on the right edge of the card. I'll have to fix the cropping. As for the art, he's standing in a field with rocks. And he looks angry. But he doesn't really look like he's going to start something. He just looks angry. Golduck. This is the Sun Moon base version. I think there was a time when I tried running Golduck Break as part of my Fluid Motion deck that I ran at League for a while. The deck is long since retired. It's still expanded legal. At least I think it is. But yeah, Fluid Motion was a deck based around water-type Pokemon. It's called Fluid Motion because it had one piece of the engine that allowed you to swap around Pokemon to the active free retreat if it had water energy. There was another Pokemon that you could move around the water energy that was on the Pokemon. I mean, there was some pretty cool dynamic stuff going on in that deck. But never really got the engine going totally adequately as I wanted it. But Golduck. So in this art, he's doing an attack with what looks like water jets coming out of his hands. Yeah. We're getting a lot of nice dynamic action attack arts today. That's pretty cool. Because most of the Pokemon card arts, they're just chilling and aren't really involved in battle. And that's kind of the whole point of the Pokemon card game, is to battle your opponents using your Pokemon. So, and a lot of the arts don't really depict that, but this one does. This is a really nice action attack art. Other than that, there's not really too much to say about it. Golduck's not particularly special, and I think it's the other version of Golduck that was run in my deck, not this one. But my deck was around this time. So, next card. Arbok. This is XY base. It's a reverse. I didn't open a lot of XY base. That set was already scarce by the time my nephews and I started collecting. This may have been a trade. This may have been pulled out of one of those 50 random cards in one foil blisters that you sometimes see from the repackaging companies. I don't remember how I got it, but as for the art, another nice dynamic action pose. We're getting a lot of action attack arts today. Like I said, I appreciate that. I really do. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. One detail that always creeped me out about Arbok, but which I always thought was pretty cool, was the pattern on its crest underneath its head. Basically looks like another face. It looks like a very spooky, creepy fake face. I always thought that was an interesting part of the Arbok design. And this one's just in a battle in some kind of field. You can see all the action motion lines around it, showing that it's in motion. Anyway, next card. Dialga GX Full Art, Forbidden Light. And the coloration for the backgrounds of the GX Full Arts, one cool thing about them is, unlike the regular GXs, which were all dynamic action poses, the GX Full Arts often depicted the Pokemon in chill poses, always against a solid color background, and the color was always their type. But in most lights, the metal background and the colorless background were so similar, and in many light and under most lights they looked nearly identical, the silver and of the metal and the white of the colorless backgrounds. But as for Dialga, its blue and metal appearance kind of gets lost against the background a little bit, but it's a pretty cool looking card. Palkia and Dialga both appeared in Forbidden Light as GXs and Full Art GXs, and they have the exact same attacks as they did the previous set, Ultra Prism, but in Ultra Prism they were printed as Dragon types. There were a lot of Pokemon in Forbidden Light, a lot of cards that were alternate typing, but same art, same attacks as cards in Ultra Prism. Pretty cool art. It's not often. Ultra rare arts are usually dynamic action poses. It's not often to. I think GX Full Arts are the only time Ultra rares really did chill poses. He looks pretty cool. I like the way he's going up on his rear legs, kind of like the horses in medieval art. It's a pretty cool effect. All right. Next card. Dark Arbok from Team Rocket, and this one's a holo. I don't remember owning this card. I don't have a lot of Wizards holos, but I guess I have this one. I thought no, that's a gym card. I didn't know I had any Rocket holos, but here it is. Team Rocket was the 4th set in Wizards, not counting base set 2. I don't count base set 2 because base set 2 was just a reprint of base set in Jungle, and I have no interest in collecting base set 2 because all the cards in it are exactly the same as their original printings just a year prior in base set in Jungle. But Team Rocket, so not counting base set 2, Team Rocket would have been the 4th set after Fossil. And they had a cool idea with the Team Rocket set that they did not really revisit. They revisited it once in Neo, well, twice. Once in Neo and once in the 3rd generation in a set called Team Rocket Returns, where you could have a Pokemon evolving into dark, evil versions of the Pokemon that were owned by Rocket. And you can see the face is even creepier here. It's got like the fake face has like fire on its fire design on its eyes. I mean, this is a really nice looking card, and I appreciate the fact that it's holo because I don't have a lot of Wizards holos. I have like maybe 5 or 6. I don't have a lot of Wizards cards, period. It's just a small percentage of my collection. I want to get more, but this is a pretty cool card. With the way the holo scan, you can't really make out background detail on the older Wizards holos, so I can't really tell what Arbok's doing. But you can tell he's in some sort of action pose. He looks angry, like he's either mid-fight or he's getting ready to start a fight. I really like this card. Sawsbuck, emerging powers. This would have been black white, so this probably would have been Sawsbuck's first appearance. Sawsbuck evolves from Deerling. If I'm not mistaken, Deerling and Sawsbuck were the black and white era Pokemon that have different forms depending on what season you catch it in. They didn't really do anything with the different forms. Sawsbuck's only had like 3 printings, and it had 4 forms in the game, so even if all 3 of its printings were different forms, it still hasn't appeared in the cards in every form it had in the video games. I could be wrong about Sawsbuck. I know about... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the seasonal Pokemon, but I could be wrong about the particular details I expressed. As for the art, he's running through what looks like... Well, he's got what looks like a tropical island background, because you can see like the rocks and the trees, and what looks like might be a waterfall or a mountain in the background. I can't really tell. But this is an action pose, but I think this is just a running action pose. I don't think it's a battle scene. Alright, next card. Sneasel. This would be Celestial Storm. The actual art, Celestial Storm did a lot of reprints of Generation 2 and Generation 3 art. I couldn't tell you what set this art was originally from. Celestial Storm, that's the set, that's the last time I went to a pre-release at League. My nephews had just quit, and my Celestial Storm pre-release was embarrassingly bad. Between my four pre-release kit packs and my 2 participation packs, all 6 of them were green codes, and none of the reverses was even a rare. I think all 6 of my reverses were commons, so I didn't get any good cards whatsoever during that pre-release. And it was right around that time also that my health was deteriorating, so my nephews had lost interest, so it's around that time I stopped going to League. So Celestial Storm is a bit sad for me to talk about, but I really like this art. The Sneasel, Sneasel usually strikes me as a mean Pokemon, but here it's just chilling. It doesn't look too mean. It actually looks kind of happy. He's just hanging out in his little forest there. Bronzong. This is Phantom Forces. The Bronzong is in front of what looks like a ruin during a thunderstorm. But I can't really make out too much background detail because of the way the Pokemon fills almost the entire focal point of the frame. Yeah. But I can tell there's some kind of ruin behind him. I just can't make any detail out. Not much to say about Phantom Forces, at least in terms of this card. Let's move on. Omastar Break. For the first time, a break appears in one of these episodes. They printed breaks during 5 sets, and there were a few promo ones as well. Breakthrough, Breakpoint, Fixed Collide, Steam Siege, Evolutions. Breaks only lasted for about a year, and they only printed about 35 total. But this is the Omastar. What's interesting is Kabuto, Kabutops, and Omanyte Omastar, the original water fossils from Generation 1. I don't know how historically they've been printed, but in Fates Collide, but in the time I was collecting, Kabuto, Kabutops, Omanyte, Omastar only got printed like once. Kabuto and Kabutops was a regular rare, and Omastar was a regular rare in Fates Collide, but Omastar got a break, and a couple years later, I think it was either Lost Thunder or Team Up, I think, Kabutops and Omastar got printed again. Kabutops was a regular rare, and Omastar got to be a holo. So yeah, Kabutops has been underappreciated by by Pokemon Card Company, in my opinion, at least in recent years. Because Omastar got to be a break during breaks, but not Kabutops. And then when they appeared again, Omastar got to be a holo, but not Kabutops. So, yeah, Pokemon Company definitely seems like they're playing favorites with those two. But yeah, breaks. I like the way breaks looked. I like the gold effect. For a time, when I had what I called my league show off book, that would have also been my event show off book. Had I gotten to that event that was in my area that I was planning to go to, but that tickets ended up being sold out like 2 weeks in advance when I went to get my tickets. Sucks on that. And then the next year was COVID, and then there were no more events. That really sucks. But when I did my event books, there was a page of all the legend halves from Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I collected all of those. There was a section where I had all the breaks. There was a section where I did Spirit Links, because I like the Spirit Links, which were the Pokemon tool cards used to evolve Mega EXs without skipping a turn. And there was a section for Full Art supporters, breaks, and all my pre-release promos. So yeah, my event book that I put together, and it took me like several hours to put that event book together, and I didn't get to go to the event. But yeah, it would have been a really cool book. This was, of course, separate from the Evolution book, which is its own special thing. And the thing that made me really sad about breaks is they never printed any Evolutions as breaks. There were only 35 total breaks, and not one of them was an Evolution. Oh well. I always liked the I always liked how the breaks looked like golden versions of the Pokemon that they represent. And you see these stripes at the sides of the Pokemon? That was cool how it was the yellow and whatever color their energy was. So the breaks would all have different stripes depending on what color their energy was. I thought that was a pretty cool effect too, how they did the stripes. Celesteela GX. This is the Unbroken Bonds version. And I never understood why they put Celesteela GX in Unbroken Bonds when they had already had Celesteela GX in Ultra Prism, but they did. And this is a dynamic action pose, but given that I could never figure out what Celesteela was supposed to be, I can't really tell what's going on in this picture. I think the Ultra Prism Celesteela is a lot cleaner of an art. And other than that, there's not really much to say about this card. Gible. That would have been Breakpoint. Just a little baby dragon chilling on the side of a mountain. Looks like he's hungry or something. Little baby, tough, mean-looking baby, but just a baby. Other than that, not really much to say here. Houndour. This is the, I think, Plasma Blast version. Yeah, because it's got ice in the art. A lot of the Plasma cards had ice in the art. Because Plasma's story is that they were a villain team that was trying to freeze the world. I don't really know too much of the story. I don't remember how it went. But a lot of the Plasma cards feature ice in the art. And Houndour, mean little black attack dog. Mean, but cute. It hasn't become Houndoom yet. Houndoom really looks mean. Houndour looks like it's trying to be mean. Houndoom actually looks mean, I think is a diplomatic way of saying what I'm trying to put into words. I have a few Houndour cards. This one's pretty cool. Houndour itself is pretty cool. But not much to say about Houndour. Next card. Pansear. Breakthrough. Oh, do I have to talk about the monkeys? Okay, Breakthrough. So this would have been a pack card for me. So yeah, in Black White era, they introduced a couple of monkeys. Fire type monkey, Panseer, who evolves into Simisear. The water type Panpour, who evolves into Simipour. And the grass type Pansage, who evolves into Simisage. And every couple sets, Pokemon Company feels the need to print the monkeys. But they never do anything cool with the monkeys. I mean, the monkeys, as far as I know, there aren't a lot of Pokemon fans who are actually partial towards the monkeys. I don't I don't hate them. I don't even dislike them. I just think Pokemon Company does them too much without ever doing them interesting. As for the art, it looks like he's training in some kind of gym, it looks like. And I can tell that doesn't look like a battle because he looks happy, but that is a fireball attack coming out of his hand, so he's definitely doing something with attacks, which strongly suggests he's training right now. Kind of a cute little art. It strikes a balance between the chill, non-battle Pokemon in everyday life arts that most of the cards are, and the actual battle action poses. This is not a battle action pose, but you can tell that he's not really chill either right now. He's practicing, it looks like. Um, Next card. Poliwhirl. I'm not seeing a this is base set. This is yeah, there's no Evolutions set logo on it. So this is base set. This is the very first printing of Poliwhirl. As for the art, a lot of early cards from base set, Jungle, and Fossil were the standard the standard static pose Pokedex entry kind of pictures. Uh, so there's really not much to say about this art. It's basically a static pose against what looks like a washed out photograph of water. Yeah, there's really not much going on in this art, but it's still a vintage base set card, which makes it really cool. And you can even see in the scan the wear at the top corners of the card, how the yellow section is fading away into white. So yeah, pretty old stuff here. Next card. Chansey, Phantom Forces. It looks like it's at some kind of rooftop restaurant, but there's no customers right now. Chansey's interesting because when Chansey debuted in Generation 1, it was by itself, but in Generation 2, it got an evolution called Blissey, and then in Generation 4, it got a baby called Happiny. So it became a three-stage line, even though it started out by itself. There's not a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon who started out as non-evolvers, who then got a full three-stage line later on. Alright, Venonat. This is Jungle. I like how it's giving us some vintage today. Another one of the static Pokedex poses against a generic background. This time standing in a field with giant flowers. And the art looks a bit washed out. A lot of Wizards art was like that, where it looks slightly washed out. And again, you can see in the top corners of the card how it has wear from its age. So yeah, nice little Wizards card. Not really much else to say about Venonat. Machamp. This is the Detective Pikachu version of Machamp. The Machamp in the movie was a cameo appearance where it was like the traffic cop directing traffic with its extra arms. You'd think that Machamp would be put in some kind of wrestling role in its real-life appearance, but no, it's a traffic cop. Still a cool job for it given its extra arms. And this card art, I think, really captures it trying to fill that role, directing traffic in the busy city. Yeah, Detective Pikachu was a fun movie. Not much to say about the art, other than Traffic Cop Machamp, directing traffic. Silvally GX. This is Ultra Prism. Silvally was a Generation 7 Pokemon, where the story behind it is it was created by scientists to protect Alola region against the extra-dimensional Pokemon called Ultra Beasts that would randomly appear through magical portals. I don't really understand the whole story, but Silvally, pretty fun Pokemon, although this GX doesn't really capture the character design all too well. You see its face, that's about it. But there's so much dynamic motion action lines that you can't really see its body. Sableye. Lost Thunder Reverse. Not much to say about this. This was one of my single stack sets. But it looks like he's just having a calm day, resting in his little tree branch. Not really too much else to say about this one. He's calm and happy today. Baneri. Flashfire. And this Baneri art always made me giggle because it looks like it's farting a rainbow. I mean, literally, look at it. There's a rainbow in the background, but the way the rainbow is angled, it looks like the Baneri is making the rainbow. So he's just having a happy day, hopping through his field of flowers, and a rainbow in the back. There's really no way to depict a Pokemon much happier than this. Rainbows are always cool when they appear in the backgrounds of card arts, but seriously, they couldn't have positioned the rainbow just a little more appropriately? Oh well. Yeah, this card always made me giggle. Other than that, nothing really too special about how I collected it. It's a common card, so this would have been a pack pull, because I did get to do a couple packs of Flashfire. Timber, XY base, and this is the only, Timber was a black-white Pokemon, debuted in black-white, Timber, Girded, Conkeldurr. They were Pokemon that basically looked like construction workers. Timber was printed in XY base, and then did not appear, the line did not appear again throughout any more XY or Sun Moon sets. We didn't see that line. I think that line finally got printing in one of the Sword Shield sets. But given as I haven't really collected the Sword Shield sets, I'm not going to swear on that. Manectric. Primal Clash. This is a reverse. Basically an electric dog surrounded by this giant lightning storm he's created. Not really much else to say about this one. Pretty cool looking. Alolan Raticate. Celestial Storm. This is one I had to buy as a single. And unlike most GXs, this one never got a full art version, as far as I know. Maybe it got released later. I don't remember for sure, but I don't think Alolan Raticate ever got a GX full art. But this was in Celestial Storm. Raticate was always an aggressive-looking Pokemon, but the Alolan version of Raticate was even much more aggressive and angry-looking than regular Raticate ever was. Basically, if you will, Alolan Raticate was basically Raticate on steroids, if you follow that metaphor. But yeah, pretty cool action pose. Next card. Flareon. We saw the Glaceon earlier this stream, but this is the Flareon from that Sylveon Collection Box promo set. Yeah, he's just a nice little Flareon, patterned color background. This is a nice set of holos. Really not much else to say. But it is an evolution. So let's go ahead and call this the finale for tonight. Let me leave him on the screen, though. I messed it up, so there you go. Let me leave him on the screen while I figure out someone to raid. Alright, says Derium's online, but it's actually Derium tonight. Sometimes it's Derium's co-worker. So I'm going to go over there and see if it's actually Derium. Give me a moment to check this. It actually is Derium and Wifey tonight. And I think Wifey actually followed my stream previously. It's Derium. We're going to Derium tonight. He's opening Pokemon cards, and right now he's showing off some Charizard promos, it looks like. Wow. Looks like he's opening up a team-up order right now. Let's get ready to raid Derium. And even though I try to raid music at the end of my stream, none of the musicians I follow are on right now. And that's okay, because we actually did a Pokemon card stream tonight, and Derium is opening actual physical Pokemon cards right now. So it's a perfect raid for us to do. I'll be back. I'll probably do another show tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. I'm putting some nice things together for future episodes. I think you'll enjoy what's coming up. Have a good night, everyone, and go give Derium some love.
Believe me. It's like, what is that?